Greetings, everybody, and welcome to the first ever Conception Nuttcast, the show where I am, of course, your host, Colonel Panic, resident spider lover of the R Anime Podcast Discord, and I'll be talking about Conception, a show I've been very much looking forward to. In this very first edition of this show, first and probably last, let's be real, edition of this show, I'll be doing this solo because I felt bad having to ask someone to watch this, to be honest, because it's not like I don't know it's garbage and I don't know who's been watching it. I feel like I'm the only one who even had this show on their goddamn radar. Like, I know people knew about it because it's Studio Gonzo, and the character designer is the same who did Re:Zero. It's based on a game. Like, I know people know about it, but I feel like I'm the only person who was excited for it, as evidenced by the fact that no licensors picked it up. This show almost didn't happen. Like, if not for whoever fan subbed it. Let me just look that up real quick while I talk. If not for the fan subbers, this would never have happened, which was the case last season too, with another show I loved. Like, if I did this one episode, whatever it's gonna be, podcast back then, it would have been for the show Sunohara So something, where a big-tittied caretaker Onesan pampers a young boy half to death. And now this show, I'm basically watching this show for one character. Her name is Ari, whatever. Like, she's the zodiac sign Aries, I guess. Which one is that? The Aries zodiac sign. Oh, that's the ram. Cool. Okay. So she's that one, as evidenced by her hat, which bears like the symbol for the Aries, but it also kind of looks like ovaries, which ties into the theme of the show, Conception. Because, like, what's it about? Okay. So, get this. It's based on a game, which, as far as I can tell, is like a combination visual novel and dungeon crawler, where the main character has sex with girls to get them pregnant, but they don't give birth to kids. They give birth to little star children, star wardens, or whatever, in order to save the world. Now, every guy's fantasy, am I right? It's fucking incredible. It's so fucking asinine. It's so stupid. Well, that's why I love it, because it's so fucking blatant. And, like, a big meme is, of course, that it's all part of the Japanese government, Shinzo Abe, trying to boost the declining birth rate. Like, I don't know how much truth there is to that, but there's gotta be some reason for all these anime shows that are so horny. There's all like, get kids, have sex, find a relationship, stop focusing on careers, have kids. And it's I just think it's funny. It's honestly funny, like how blatantly overly sexualized it is. I mean, as a cis male, of course, blatant sexism does not hit me as hard as it does the people who are like the victims of it, or like, this is clearly made for sexually frustrated or just thirsty AF young teens, or like young adults, early 20s, maybe late 20s. It's basically made for me, and I just think it's funny. So anyway, it's based on a game that's got a sequel and it's got a port, and it's like a pretty popular game. Character designs from Re:Zero guy, it looks good. Like, most of the character designs are pretty fucking lit. Only like there's one of them who has like elf ears and weird halfway cowboy techno pants. Like, I don't like that design at all. But most of them are pretty cool. 3 of the women I am way in love with, and as I said, I'm mainly watching for one specific. lady, because she seems like the overbearing, kind of aloof big sister type with like big tiggle bitties and the calm reverse slant eyes, and she looks like she would go like that's my kind of anime girl. That's my favorite. That's also why I like Sunohara. So I'm watching for her, but this episode introduced the nurse as well, who I think is voiced by Asusa from Grand Blue, who were like my favorite girl from that show. Again, she's the older of the bunch, big old titties, kind of pampers the main character. Like, I have a type, anyone can tell. So yeah, the nurse was there. She teases the main character a little bit. There's also like a kind of executive looking lady with short white hair. She might have glasses. Maybe she has an eye patch. I might be mixing her up with the ninja lady from Yuraki no Yunasan. Well, anyway. Okay, quick rundown of the plot. Like, just to get everybody up to speed. Okay, so main character and main guy and main girl have been living together for 3 years. Guy is staying at some relatives, and she's their daughter. So, like, it's not stated explicitly in the show, but she's his cousin. The show opens up, you're on the rooftop, and she confesses that she's pregnant. And kind of teases him about it, and, like, there's some clear flirting right away. They're kind of digging each other at this point. But they haven't fucked, not yet. Spoilers. I mean, it's Chekhov's vagina. They haven't fucked yet. And she's still a virgin, so it's like an immaculate conception kind of thing. Okay, so right as she confesses this and tries to tell him who the dad is and that there isn't a dad, they're sucked into another world. So this is technically like an isekai. I guess it's an isekai. Yeah, I mean, it is. They're sucked into the world of Grandvania, where immediately she barfs out some energy, turns into a demon. The main guy sprouts a sword and chops it in half, like just a natural born fighter. Came out of goddamn nowhere. So, demon is dead. They go out of the dungeon, like immediately approached by a pervert raccoon, floating pervert raccoon, who can like smell that the girl is a virgin. They both notice that they've got like marks on them. He's got it on his hand and she's got it on her cheek. And they match, and it's like, I think it's the Virgo symbol, because it turns out that she's a priestess of Virgo. Well, I'm getting way ahead of myself here. Okay, some jackass takes them to the king of this world, who explains to them that every 10 years, a boy and a girl is sucked into this world to purify it. And they do that by the girl becoming a priestess, along with 11 already existing priestesses. Technically 12. You'll see why. And the boy gets... So she's marked with a symbol of her zodiac. And the boy is marked, we later learn, with all 12. Like they're spread all over his body. And it's basically his holy duty to procreate. To conceive children, start children with all these priestesses. It's fucking ridiculous. Okay, so they're both taking to a respective, like, nurse or whatever. Like, she's gonna be taken care of because she's just given, like, spirit birth. Like, the thing they fought was her impurities leaving her body as she was cleansed and became a priestess. So whatever. Her impurities got aborted with a sword. Okay, whatever. Main guy is taking to a nurse who is one of the priestesses, like a red-haired nurse with a super hot voice. Like she's DTF. Because he wakes up in a hospital bed, tied on his arms and legs, only in underwear, and she is way teasing him, being, oh, nice package you got there, nice dick, dude. She's like, oh, I won't be taking off your underwear, dude. Are you annoyed by that? And then he's like, oh, maybe a little. So this is like, I wanna touch on this later, but I like that the MC doesn't take no shit regards to this, because it would be very typical harem anime for him to go, oh, what do you mean? What are you talking about? What could you possibly mean by removing my underwear? What would you possibly want to do that for? Like pretending you don't know about sex. Whatever. Okay, so the nurse explains to him that he has to go on a fucking like sex marathon across this world and bang every priestess, one for every zodiac. And we see like little flashes of everybody. And one of the first ones is my favorite, Aerie. And then the white-haired one, I forget what zodiac she is, whatever. We see all the rest. And like the Gemini is actually two girls. I have one complaint though about all these designs. It seems like half of them are made with like lolly fans in mind, and I'm not into that at all. So that's like, I'm gonna knock some points for that when it finally comes time to rate it, I guess. It's too many little girls, and I don't like it. And apparently, SFA, whatever, on the Discord pointed out that one of the girls looks like the chick from the Me 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 anime music video, whatever it is, like experimental, crazy short. And I noticed that one of the other girls kind of looks like Fuss Fossilite from Land of the Lustrous. Kind of, sort of, not that much. Like, the hair is longer and her build is smaller because she's more lolly. But they've got kind of the same hairstyle and face going. Anyway, so I take note. Too many lollies. 3 lit AF older girls. And like 3 that are just kind of mud. Like they're just like kind of nothing. One of them's a cat girl. I think, yeah, one is a cat girl. One is the one with like cowboy techno pants and elf ears. Like, I'm a fucking sucker for elf ears, but her design is just horrible. So anyway, the little trash panda, the fucking raccoon, flies around, teases the MC, and is like, you're gonna have to fuck these girls. You know what I'm talking about? I'm not gonna let you misunderstand this. You're gonna be banging them. There's no mistaking it. And in a part of this is a kind of funny thing they did. In a part of this whole rant, this exposition thing, he instead of explaining further, he just pulls out a sign that says, go check out this website. We have more information here. Which I think is fucking hilarious, because it honestly reminds me of playing Destiny back in the first year of it, where all the lore of the game was like hidden away in Bungie's website. So that's like a callback that's at the same time funny, but also kind of sort of triggering my brain back to the fucking horrible design decisions that went into the first couple years of Destiny, which I love. I play it all the time. Anyway, so main guy and cousin are taking to a huge bed, and it's explained to them that they're gonna, well, it's already been explained they're gonna be banging, but the girl is like, but then I'm gonna get pregnant, and that's gonna be like a huge problem. And then everybody's like, no, you're not gonna have a real kid. You're gonna be giving birth to this magic thing, a star warden, because you're like a star. I think they're called star priestesses. A star priestess, and they're gonna give birth to a star warden, which is like a little spirit thing that's gonna purify the world. And they're also told that the only way they get to go home is by doing this. It's a little iffy on the consent side, but like, I don't know. I thought she looked pretty happy that she'd been provided with this excuse to fuck her cousin, and he's way into it too. And they fuck, like, they straight up fuck. The raccoon, super fucking annoying, and the guy's like, hey, fuck off. Leave her alone. Stop trying to push her into doing this. It matters if she wants to do it. And she's like, I guess it's my duty to do this, because otherwise we don't get to go home. But she's got like the look in her eyes, and she's like blushing. It's like, she secretly wanted this all along. She's happy she gets to do this. So yeah, They throw the raccoon away, and they fuck. Like, we don't see the straight up fucking, but we see them get naked, lying down. We see his butt and her hips and whatever. And I'd been told at some point that the games didn't have actual sex and that the show wouldn't have sex. But I think what that person meant to say is that it doesn't have like actual pregnancy. It doesn't have like, no one's gonna get an actual kid. They're gonna make like little, like shimmer orbs, magic things, spirits. Which, I mean, I guess they're still conceiving life, but it's not like a kid. It's not a baby. But it leaves off on them presumably having sex for the first time, both of them, in a gigantic bed with, I think the girl says that everybody's watching, so there's apparently spectators. Kind of sus. Whatever. So unless they're cut off at the beginning of the very next episode, I don't see how they're not gonna fuck. I'm just gonna assume that they are. And that brings me to another point. Well, I kind of already made it. I like that none of these characters are like, oh no, I don't even know. Oh, you wanna do it? What do you mean by do it? Do you mean kiss? Do it when you hold hands? What is it you want to do? And they don't slap each other and they don't get flustered. Well, they do get flustered, but only insofar as is to be expected in your fucking first time. I think these kids are both like they must be legal age. I don't know, what is that in Japan? I would assume they're both like 17, 16, 18, like that range. And they're told they have to fuck to save the world. And none of them are like screaming or slapping each other, being hyper embarrassed and pretending they don't know what it is. Which is honestly refreshing. Like, it's a sus context, of course. It's this weird straight man and woman make kids to save the world. They literally have straight sex and have a baby to save the world. It's kind of what Darling in the Franxx devolved into at the end. But it's this weird propaganda thing. And so it's like kind of a sus context for it. But I do appreciate that it's a show where it's a harem show, which was always weird. Like, you have Isekai Smartphone, the guy, it's like it leaves off on saying, oh, I'm gonna marry all 9 of you, and he gets like 9 wives or whatever. But he never fucks anyone. Not in the show. Maybe off screen. I don't know. I didn't read them. And you have like Death March, where he has sex, but with prostitutes in a bordel, in a hovel or whatever. Like, he has a harem, but he doesn't bang any of them. It's very weird, and I don't think, insofar as you want to call Monogatari a harem show, which I guess you could. It's one guy, there's a bunch of girls, at least more than one of them probably want to fuck him. But he only walks home gently with one of them, and it's Senjugahara. It was fucking amazing. Anywho, like, not since Monogatari have I seen a show where the quote-unquote harem MC bangs anyone in his harem. And here's a show where he is gonna have actual sex, so he's gonna bang every single one of them, and one of the priestesses is 2 girls. I don't know. It's very weird. Like, I don't 100% appreciate the context of it, but I do like that someone is finally doing it. Making a harem show where he fucks all the harem girls. Because otherwise the world is gonna be destroyed and he can't go home. And one of them is his cousin. Like, it's finally happening. This is everything all anime fans have been waiting for forever. All these shows where some guy's alluding to being in love with his cousin, and it's like, oh, we can't do it because we're cousins. And here's a show where the first episode, the dude fucks his cousin because otherwise he's dooming the world. It's funny, and I'm fucking excited to see more. I think I covered everything. Maybe speaking to the characters a little bit. Like, I don't know a whole lot about them. Like, as I said, the guy doesn't take any, like, the nurse's teasing. She's like, oh, are you sad I'm not removing your underwear? And he's like, yeah, maybe a little bit. Who wouldn't be? And the raccoon is teasing him about, hey, you're gonna be fucking all these girls. You like sex, don't you? And the expected, because he's like kind of hesitating, and the expected reaction is, no, how could you say that? Of course I don't. I respect all these girls, blah, 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 blah. Pretending to be a quote unquote good boy, be a nice guy. And he looks at the raccoon and goes, who doesn't? And I can appreciate that. I think that's fun. It's different. The cousin was not super... Well, there's really no other characters that's gotten any development yet. Like, we know the nurse is flirty. I don't need to see the Airy character do anything to know that she's gonna be all airheaded and pampering. And she is, like, of all the characters, she is the most likely to provide a lap pillow. Just calling it right now. That is 100% happening. Or he's getting smushed in her boobs. She is that type of big-tittied onesan, and that is what I'm here for. I hope she's the first, like, the second girl we get to see. This fucking cavalcade of anime boning. Such a stupid show. And yeah, there's really no other characters to talk about. There was a king. There was a king's, like, vassal. There's the horny raccoon. And the flirty nurse. I don't remember anybody's name. Except Ari, whatever it is. And I think the cousin may be like... Marihu, Miharu, something to that extent. Like those syllables in some arrangement. If people like this at all, I might do another one next week. It's very strange talking to myself like this. I feel like it turned out okay. But like the feeling of just talking into nothing and to nobody. It's very uncomfortable to get it started, which is also kind of why I wanted to do it, because it made me uncomfortable. So it's like, well, then I kind of have to try, because otherwise, how do you evolve as a person? I kind of want to get used to hearing my own voice too. So editing this is gonna be like good practice. Anyway, I'm out. This has gone on for fucking ever. God damn. Okay, I've been rambling. Oh, and if you're like me and you like big titty renaissance, I have a Twitter account that I started. It's at Big Titty. Titty is of course BIGTIDDIED. Somehow that was available, and I post pictures of big titty renaissance every once in a while. If it's fan art, I provide the artist. I provide what it's from. So go check that out. I mean, the more the merrier. There's not a whole lot of followers right now, but it's a pretty new account. Anyway, I might be doing this again next week. Honestly, I'm not sure. I'm not gonna make any promises. But yeah, thanks for listening. And see you next time, maybe. Okay. Bye.